You know, as I sit here this morning after getting called into work, which isn't a problem, I've got my ass in so much trouble. There's not much of a better place I'd rather be. But I'm always on here talking about positivity and good messages. I hold a lot of suffering inside, suffering in silence maybe, but always have a great faith. There's so much that we live with and go on with. I'd like to share a little bit with you. Things I deal with. I have a father that only has 20% lung function, but by the grace of God, he stays strong, just like we're taught. We all need support, though. Within the last 2.5 years, the woman I've been with had had a miscarriage with 2 children, and a third one she was pregnant in her tubes. She took an abortion pill. She also led me to believe for months that she was still with child because she thought I'd go away from her for that fact. Last year I ran from 19 cops and made the front page of the paper. I was going to have a bad day myself. I'd done so much wrong that day. First customer in the liquor store. Also had extracurricular fun. I was ready to have a real bad day. Even a few years ago, I did 13 months in jail. I committed a violent act, and they tried to give me 5 or 6 years in prison as a first-time felon. But in that 13 months, I did get my nose back into a lot of good books and a lot of good reading. Went back to some values that I had forgot. I did grow up in a Baptist church. Been to so many different denominational churches. So many similarities, yet so many differences. You know, I had a relapse a few years ago before I did that 13 months with alcohol because I had lost a stepson. He was getting ready to be released from the county jail after being in there for 2 years, but his heart exploded. So yes, I relapsed. And because of that fact, was put out of the home I was actually paying rent in, paying all the utility bills, doing everything. The guy even put a padlock on the outside breaker box and through the main breaker. Just some things I deal with. Because I was put out of that house, I was thrown into the lion's den of an environment I had no business being in. One that sold drugs, one that drank all the time. Couldn't do that. So much we live with. I lost a sister, a half sister, but she was my best friend back in 2003. Lost my brother on Mother's Day of 2007. Lost my mom a year later. Lost aunts. Some of my aunts, Lost so much. My grandmother was even seen as a material object. So I blew through 10 grand just a few months ago. After my brother passed away, and then my mom passed away. I even blew through $100,000 in 3 months, taking advantage of things that I hadn't done in life before. Maybe having a honeymoon I never had with my ex-wife, get materialistic goods, but I've done so wrong with so much monetary gains. Things are truly engraved on our heart, not to mention all the fighting that I had to do through elementary school because of the poor family that I grew up in. But we were brought up with so many better values. We might have been poor money wise, but we were brought up with a great respect, were we not? But we're the ones that forget it, and we all do at times. So much bad that's happened in my life. I do my best anymore to stay positive. I mean, heck, I was even called dead 3 times about 2.5 years ago. EMTs weren't even going to revive the gentleman sitting before you and speaking. It's called dead on the scene of my accident. I had a 2-3 blood alcohol level. They called me dead in the helicopter. And they called me dead on the table when I had a brain bleed. The procedure to fix it caused me to have a stroke. So once in a while I might look like a bobblehead if I get too relaxed. Simple moving usually just has the shakes dissipate. Forget we even have them. It's whatever. But you know, some of the biggest things that weigh on my heart, at times, I've been made a public spectacle. And why? Why? Many of you guys have seen so many of these videos I post on YouTube. I do my best to stay positive, but yet, why am I made out to be the negative Nancy in a relationship? Nobody needs that. Nobody at all. Don't we all want to be treated with fairness and equality? Don't we do our best from the hardships that we've been through in life? Everything has a great learning experience. Why stay painful all the time? We've been through so much pain. We all suffer. How do you want to grow? Aren't we taught to stay humble? We're taught so much, and it seems like the more we understand, the more we forget, and the more questions arise at times. You know, I believe it's in Zechariah 1, maybe chapter 2, excuse me. I forget. It said that God, our Creator, sent 4 horsemen here to the earth, perhaps 4 different spirits to try our patience. Maybe the red horse, the pale horse, the black horse. Who else can remember the fourth? I'm sure drawing a blank right now. How are not great values truly engraved on us through what we have lived through? This time of year is hard for so many. We love the ones that are always with us. Nobody really ever truly leaves us because don't their memories actually live on up here and in here? Yes, losing a best friend hurts. It really does. When you have a lover with you that's always been there since you were called dead, and you get ridiculed for nothing at all, things you were actually given permission to do. You know, something else that the Bible teaches us is we're supposed to be speaking in parables. I was told not to speak in parables by somebody a couple years ago in a way that grew pain and a harshness inside of me, maybe because of hypocritical ways he was seen by somebody that grew up in parochial school. She knows so much, she has learned so much. Polygamy took a lot of her freedom away at such a young age. But addiction and alcoholism took a lot of my freedoms away. Being in a concrete tomb away from so many for so long. What ways do you want to grow and be better? If we don't be better, are we not going to repeat our past? Shouldn't we stay for the better values? Aren't we also taught to bring other people up? There's so much in life that molds and shapes us. Were these things not predestined? Maybe even before we could even remember. We run into so many great people that help us along the way. Shouldn't we be there for them just like they've been there for us? We get busy with our lives and can't reach out to all. Really sucks at times. But things are a two-way street, are they not? I hope everybody has a great Sunday, has enjoyed the weekend, their families, their friends, everything we learn and live for. It sucks when you have to hold so much inside of you and you can't talk about it because it's truly not about us, is it? But don't we want that help? Don't we want that recognition from others that we're doing and staying so well? Why do people choose to bring us down? There's a great message out there for us every day. I'm starting to repeat myself in some of the things that I'm saying. So I'm going to let you guys go for the day. If I've interrupted, we all learn. Love you guys. Have a great, blessed day. Thank you for taking time out to listen to this message if you so chose.